Hey folks, I'm attorney Roger P. Foley, and I wish I could tell you that everyone that called the office was in true need of help, especially in personal injury cases, right? As you know, I handle personal injury cases, car accidents, slip and falls, Uber accidents, you understand. So I get a call from a gentleman, and I'm just going to share a story with you because you got to be careful about the cases that you accept. And here's the story. So this gentleman calls my office. First thing that he does is he calls very late at night, which to me is a little bit of a red flag because you don't call your dentist at 11 p.m. or 12 p.m., in the evening. You might go to the emergency room at that time, but is that the time to call for legal assistance? Well, if you're in a criminal case and you're surrounded by a bunch of police officers and they're about to knock down your door, well, then I get it. In personal injury, it's not like I'm going to have a complaint filed the next day. So first red flag. So I called the gentleman back, the next day. And he immediately starts telling me he's a talker. And I'm going to say he's a New York talker because he reminds me of a friend of mine that I know in New York. And you can't even, he's going so quick, you never get to say anything. So this gentleman keeps talking. He's telling me, this is the best case you're ever going to have. They got $2 million policy. Forget about it. I was just sitting there parked in the parking lot and this guy just, boom, T-bones me. It's unbelievable. Now I need like 6 surgeries. And I go, okay, well, let's back up. Yeah, the emergency medical people, they came right down and they said, look, there's nothing broken. So don't waste your time going to the emergency room. They're going to tell you the same thing, right? Now, of course, as an attorney, I'm thinking, well, no one's got x-ray vision that works for an EMT. Can't imagine an EMT really saying that, right? Because if you were just T-boned in a car accident, you might have injuries, and for liability purposes, for safety, to make sure people, they're okay, it's usually good to go to the hospital and get an x-ray or a scan and have them check things out to make sure that you're okay. So, but neither here nor there. So he says that, 2 days later, he goes to 2 days later, I go to the doctor, right? And so, okay, so I'm listening to the story. He's like, yeah, I was just T-boned. I'm in this van and it almost tips over and, I'm really hurt. Now I need 5 or 6 surgeries. Look, I already exhausted my PIP, I was talking to, the big law firm, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to say the names. And they're calling me. They know it's a great case. It's $2 million, right? And I'm like, okay. So now, the antennas are up, right? The red flags. Like, okay, so let's go back. I said, it's kind of a peculiar case because you're sitting in a parking lot and you get T-boned. Yeah, the whole thing. The guy, he's just not paying attention. I'm at the, I'm sitting there and this guy just boom and hits me and I'm okay. So then as he starts to tell the story, you find out that he's actually moving the car. He's not parked, right? He's like, I was backing it up into the space, making sure it lined up and I'm at the last spot. Okay. Right, so now you know that there may be some contributory negligence. So I said, well, so what happens after that? You don't go to the hospital? No, just go to the doctor today. You heard? I just told you. Sometimes you have to ask a question a few times because sometimes people don't hear it. Sometimes people don't understand it. Sometimes people don't respond the way I want them to respond. So he says you go to the doctor. So then I say, well, what doctor did you go to? Did you go to your primary physician? Because for me to think that you could get a doctor's appointment in this world that we're living in 2 days, that seems pretty far. I went to the chiropractor. I went there for over a month, right? And then, then I went to the spinal surgeon and I went to the knee doctor and, look, I got to get hang on a second. The doctor's calling me. Hang on. Yeah, I got to get a knee replacement. Okay. So the doctor has said, sir, that the knee replacement is due to the car accident in the parking lot. Yeah, and the meniscus and everything's ripped apart. Right? Yeah, of course it's this. Listen, you're asking a lot of questions. Well, so hopefully you understand that as an attorney, that's what I do, right? My goal is to help people, so I have to ask a lot of questions to understand the story, because if I understand the story properly, then I can properly advocate for you. I don't know, but you're just asking so many questions. I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, you want the case or what? You're going to come over here, I'll sign the paperwork. Listen, I got a whole bunch of attorneys that, like, they're calling me right now. They just want the case. It's $2 million. What, you don't want, boom, 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 bing, bang, boom. All you got to do is collect the records. I go get the surgeries. You put in a demand. We get the $2 million. You get your cut. Like, what better case can I give you than this a case? And I'm going, and I'm not kidding you. The guy's talking just like that. So he goes, you asked too many questions. And I go, okay, well, sir, I'm sorry that I wasn't, I'm sorry I asked too many questions. And I'm sorry that I'm not going to be able to help you. Ah! Click. Do I want that case? I got to tell you, folks, even if I believe the facts, that he was sitting in a parking space, that someone was driving recklessly through a parking lot, that they crashed into him, I don't know that my personality is conducive to dealing with someone who is that rambunctious, who is that know-it-all, who he knows about his PIP benefits. He went to a chiropractor. And no knock on chiropractors, but if you're seriously injured, like if you think your back's broken or your knees ripped apart, are you going to the chiropractor like for an adjustment? Like, I just don't think you are. And again, I have friends, Tommy D, one of my boys from back in, from lifelong friend. I just don't think that's where you go. I think you go to a hospital. I think you go to an urgent care. I think you go to an orthopedic doctor. I think you go to your primary physician. And maybe in addition to that, you may go to a chiropractor or something like that. But listen, if it's a soft tissue injury, okay. But this guy's, I got like 5 surgeries because of this accident. It's $2 million guaranteed. It's cut and dry. And I immediately said, sir, like, respectfully, I've been around for a while. There's I find in my practice, there's nothing cut and dry. I wish there was. I wish it was as simple as the way you say it, but usually it's not. Usually there's some complexities to the case. You asked too many questions. You asked too many questions. Anyway, guys, I listen. I'm of Italian heritage. I'm a New Yorker. So if you're Italian, or if you're in New York, don't hate me. That is my impression of the person that I consulted with. I guess the idea is I don't even know if it was a consultation at this point. You have to choose your cases wisely. You have to ask questions. If you're a young attorney and you're in the practice, you have to ask questions. You have to vet the person. I had started to ask this person, do you have any priors? Yeah, 10 years ago. Well, 10 years ago may be important. I mean, did you aggravate? Like my wrist, my leg, like he's getting everything. Like he's getting a wrist replacement. He's going to get a knee replacement. Probably should get a head replacement. I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about not every case is a case that you take in personal injury. I'm attorney Roger P. Foley. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't hate on me too much in the comments for my terrible accents and New York impressions. Again, I'm Italian and I'm from New York, so I can say it, right? See ya. Bye. If you don't like it, I break at your face. See ya. Kidding, 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 kidding.